But, training at Black House in California, that was a huge blessing too. I got to be around guys like Anderson Silva and Lyoto Machida, who, my last sparring session in America actually was with Lyoto, before going to Thailand for that world championship, and he was getting ready for Chael Sonnen. So it was,
Oh, it's awesome.
yeah, DAZN was there. They were filming for the countdown and stuff. You can see me getting beat up in that little build up to his fight.
That's wild.
But yeah, I mean, those guys too. It's just that same thing as like Sunshine, where they know their stuff and they know what they're good at and they know how to cover their weak points, and they control the fight and keep it where it wants to be, and just the mindset too of a champion. Like just seeing them grind and be in camp and keep pushing and doing that extra round, and when they're so tired and they feel like there's really nothing left, like they're doing more and more and more and more, and it's just very motivating and just teaches you what it really takes to compete at the highest level.
Yeah, like how many people get to have that? It's funny because that was the exact question I was going to ask you. Like, you training at Black House and stuff like that. And I didn't know you did Anderson Silva too. So what, they both came on different days, same day together, or?
Yeah, so we have Friday sparring there, and then Mondays and Wednesdays is wrestling. So Lyoto was doing Monday, Wednesday, Fridays because for Chael Sonnen he wanted to get a little bit of extra wrestling in. So Monday, Wednesdays, I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not that same weight class at all, but I walk about 180, and height wise I kind of matched up, and I got a good double leg. So I was one of Lyoto's main partners throughout that whole camp. And then Silva, pop in on his Fridays and do some sparring, and I never would bang with him, too much respect. But he's always just showing me little things, and I'll do something, he's like, "Don't do that, because I'll do this," and I'll do something like, "Oh, don't do that, I'll do this," and just little
uh,
things, dude, where you're just seeing how he thinks and like little holes that he picks up in your game, and he'll just so cool. He just tells you and helps you to get better, and you just get to feel what it's like though to fight someone his level. Like it's really really hard to touch him.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
And
such a blessing, man. Any other people you got to spar with that?
those two were definitely the highest level of, you could probably reach and that I got to move around with. But at Black House, we had Albert Morales, Christos, all UFC guys who
All right.
just been in there. Shaman Moraes, great Muay Thai fighter too. He spent a lot of time in Thailand, and um, yeah, so many people coming in and out of there. So many different bodies to train with, and different levels of guys. But yeah, definitely Lyoto and Anderson are the pinnacle of that. Oh, Alan Juban, who fought recently, got to train with him a little bit too at
Oh,
Black House.
dope.
Yeah, that's kind of the group of guys.
What is, dude, that must like, I'd be honest, because some people, I heard this from a pro fighter that told me, like, if you're not getting your ass kicked, you're in the wrong place. Did you feel
Yeah.
like you got your ass kicked hanging out with them? I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, and it was quite a bit, but it was, my coach and I always talked about, my first day there, we filmed my sparring, and then like a year later, just the jump in the level just from this being around those sparring partners. There's no cheating in the training, whereas like when you're the best guy in your gym, you can start fighting with your hands down, the rounds where you're tired, you can kind of play that game and kind of get away with it. But over there's no easy round and there's no easy second in that round. Like no one wants to, it's all love, but no one wants to lose. You know what I mean? Like every interaction, like every back and forth, you want to be coming out on top, and just the pressure the guys put on you there. Um, One of the guys, Tommy, the Spaniard, he's one of Tony Ferguson's training partners right now. And you talk about that kind of pressure, like he brings that Tony Ferguson pressure. Like you're not gonna breathe for 5 minutes. Doesn't matter what you're throwing or how hard you're throwing it. Like he's in your face, just pushing. So dealing with these kind of like styles just got me so prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're in that good a shape where your cardio is a weapon. I've had a couple people talk about that. It's a whole different thing than just your technique. Using pressure, because, if you can't breathe or you can't think, those are huge factors. I don't care how skilled you are. That's what people call bringing you to deep waters.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, always in my striking, I try to be patient because I have that experience with it. But when it ends up on the floor and I'm grappling, I'm a blue belt. I've been training jiu-jitsu for 6 years now under Hayde Yogo, Carlson Gracie black belt. And when it gets on the ground, I have my wrestling base from growing up, so I'm just creating scrambles and trying to just make them work and get them tired and just end up in better positions and just keep on them because If he starts moving slow, you start playing that game of chess with him, against a higher level guy, black belt in jiu-jitsu, you're gonna get caught. But that was always my thing in the ground is let me just tire this guy out. Let me wear him, being as safe as I can. Let me just gas this guy. And then maybe, I'll be able to either sink that choke in or get that arm bar or, just find that position where I can go to town.
Yeah, me and Jay call it cooking the beans. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
you gotta just make sure that shit's done and then you do it. You know.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that before. They used to say that at CSW was one place I used to train at too before Black House. Eric Paulson's gym.
Oh
Uh,
shit, the Eric Paulson.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was my teacher. Spent quite a bit of time training with him. So, as my level started to go up, my teacher started to take me to different gyms to train at. My head coach is Reza Moazezi, and our gym was the Way of No Way. So that was kind of my home, and then I'd always go, for sparring partners or should learn from other teachers. He sent me different places, so I'd do like mornings one place, then always back at night at my own home gym. But yeah, Eric Paulson's gym too is quite the arena to be in.
And for people who don't know, that's more of a catch wrestling than more of the jujitsu, and it's similar but different. I'd like to say it's more painful idea
Yeah,
than
meaner.
jujitsu. Yeah, meaner. They put more pressure with their body, even well, in my experience. I have a coach that it kind of fused jujitsu with catch wrestling and made it into one system. I think
Mm-hmm.
you've seen the Dan Fisher documentary. If shout
Yes.
out
Yeah.
anybody want to see that, but he literally found a way because he was not like Eric Paulson, who already came from catch wrestling. He was a guy that hit jujitsu first. Then he liked Gokor and just kept going from there. So, dude, I can't imagine. Tell me your experience with training with him and just how nasty catch is.
Yeah. So my first time meeting him, I was 14 years old, and I had just had like my second fight, my second Muay Thai fight, and I'd done a little bit of wrestling and stuff, so I was comfortable with that, but not too much jiu-jitsu yet. And we went there for a Savat seminar at his school. And then after, they invited us to stay and spar a little bit. And this Josh Barnett was in there, and
Wow.
Josh Henry is like a up and coming guy, good pro out of California. And that was like my first experience of seeing, that level of guy. And Josh Barnett obviously just played with me, being a 14-year-old kid against this former heavyweight monster. But yeah, it was amazing. So I met those guys, and then a few years later, when I decided, I want to start doing MMA, I was about no, I was 18 at the time. Started going down there and doing their fight team practices in the morning, and just intense and a wealth of knowledge. When he shows stuff, you almost get lost in it because it's like, all right, there's a lock here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then here. Like he's just showing these sequences of like, submit here. If he turns his arm to get out this way, the transition is there. They do this, you transition there. It's just he gives you these flows and like ways to chain your combinations together, kind of like chain wrestling, but for jujitsu or catch wrestling.
Wow. Wow. What other differences did you see, like, I guess, philosophy wise, as well as, or even just technique still? You can tell me.
Um, he was very, so he just had so many things mixed into like his art that he was teaching us.